Hello, this is Martin on with Sean, with your host Sean Healy. I know I haven't been on in a while, but working out, just caught up at work or whatever. So, gonna try to do a bit of a catch up now on the transfers in and out, and the rumours and the transfer merry-go-round as they call it. First of all, I'm gonna talk about Perry coming in, which I think is a very good signing. I was disappointed at first that we didn't get Savage in, because I thought he would have been quite good and very imposing and stuff like that, and looks a bit of a lunatic with an absolute nutcase. Bit like your man from Mean Machine, the goalkeeper from Mean Machine. But I seen a video of Perry doing the punch out, and I was like, I think I'll have a bit of that. Can imagine that on the road, straight and it's a square ball, and made me think. And he said about them and punching the ball out, and just the image of Daniel James getting on his bike, getting on the zoomies around the back of the fences, and just catching them out completely by surprise. Yeah, could be really good. But also he's very big, imposing. We get penalties against us, which I think will happen a good bit, because we'll be struggling because the chances we won't get decisions our way or all that crap, because we're only a newly promoted team, and the so-called bigger teams we get the decisions in their favour. Always has been, always will be, and having a keeper like Perry in goal is very big, imposing. Can take up most of the goal. I can actually save a penalty, unlike a certain Mr. Meslier. His probably his days are numbered, I'd say, but I can't see him going till towards the end of the season. Towards the end of the window, should I say, because nobody particularly wants him now. But I can see maybe a team having their keeper injured. Could possibly get their keeper injured or whatever, and they might need a backup keeper or a keeper to fill in on loan. With an option to buy maybe or something. We'll see how that plans out. The next one is a transfer out. The transfers out that are rumoured. Mateo Joseph was going to Real Betis, which could be going to Real Betis, which I think is a bit of a shame. I'd like to see him go out on loan. Then at the end of the season, before the PSR deadline, then get rid of him that way. Maybe have like a mandatory transfer fee, and that they have to pay, or a potential transfer fee if they want, that they have to pay a certain amount to honour the deal, and it has to be done before but it runs out then before the PSR deadline runs out, which could go in our favour, because if he has a good season, whatever, we can then bump up the price for him and get a bigger chunk of money for it, for him. And the next one is Isaac Smith, which is it was kind of on the cards in a way, maybe. It was, now to think of it, kind of on the cards, really, because he'd want to play a bit of football. He also played first team football. Fark never gave him a fair crack at it, in my opinion. He's probably pissed off. He's probably knows he's not going to get enough minutes. Sam Byers being signed in. We're looking at fullbacks. It's pretty self-explanatory there that he probably had a feeling he wasn't going to play much minutes. So he wants to get himself out on loan or possibly transferred out. There's nobody really that I know of that have been looking at him yet, but we'll have to see with that one. We're going to look at the transfer in rumours, which I want to start with losing out on Paxo, which I think is a bit of a shame. But it was kind of an ongoing saga, and the more it dragged on, the more it was pissing me off and annoying me that it wasn't getting done, and that wasn't getting enough from our side. That Paxel was dangling us, making us look pretty stupid, I think. Because I think he always wanted to go to Marseille, but it was always had one foot at Leeds, and people were saying that the personal terms were agreed. It was all a matter of the fee. I think Leeds were being used as a pawn there to bump up the price for Paxel. So Marseille would have to pay over 30 million or whatever it was on him, which I think is a bit annoying. Well, not a bit annoying, very annoying, in my opinion. But anyway, there's been, in the last 24 hours, there's been two that have emerged. One that we know very well in Manor Solomon, who I wouldn't be mad at getting him in. I know it looks like a bit of a downgrade from Paxel, which he probably is, but Paxel's got one of these players that thinks next level. Probably that level above us. Whereas Manor Solomon, Manor Solomon is kind of at our level that we're looking at, that we're at, should I say. Done very well for us last season, better than I thought. I had my doubts on him with his injury record, and will he be able to keep fit? Is he going to be keeping Bamford company in the medical room? Is he going to be actually playing a bit of football? He started off a bit ropey. Ramazani got injured, and Solomon came in as his replacement, and never really looked back then. He sort of took a hold of that spot, and Ramazani really only got in towards the end of the season. And the season was near enough done. But I do think Ramazani's going to have a big season next season anyway. I think he'll have a big season off the bench if need. I think either off the bench or start. He could do very well. He's had a great start to the pre-season, and so was set Mr. Willian, who I think will do very well. Because I think he'll get a little bit more space than what he would have been getting. Because he's not the big fish in the small pond of the championship, whereas now he's going to play with the big boys, and he's not going to be the best winger in the league. He's not going to be the one to watch in the league or whatever. He's not going to have a target on his back like he would have last year. So I think he'll be given a bit more space, maybe the odd time. So that's Manor Solomon. I'm going to talk about the other one then is from Florentina, Ricardo Sotul. Sorry if I butchered that name. He's a winger. He's decent. He's got a decent first touch and decent on the ball. Sometimes the finishing product can be a bit wayward, but I think if we were to get Ricardo Soto in, I think he'd be more of a backup option, and you can't see us paying 30 million on that. I think 10, 15 at most on Ricardo Soto, because I don't think he's going to be at that level. I don't think he's a level above Ramazani. Don't think he get in ahead of Ramazani. Oh, really not though. I don't think. He'll definitely get in ahead of Harrison, because I think if we can get someone in, I think Harrison will be gone. Will be the next out the door. One for PSR reasons. Jesus, it's very tired. Where was I? Oh yes, Jack Harrison. I think Jack Harrison will be sold once we get a winger in, because I think we're using Harrison as a decoy, just showing not desperate, and for a winger. He's more of a plan B if we can't get what we want. And also that I think there's a potential that we could get him in, or get a winger in towards the end of the window. You might end up having to start the season with Harrison on the bench or whatever. But I can also see Harrison maybe starting him the odd game to get him in the window, to get him in the shop window. Has maybe a little bit of ball and he plays well, bumps up the price. And also have to look at potential loan options as well. There's I think Jack Grealish was not looked at by this, but I think it could be potentially one we could look at. He's not going to get many minutes at Man City. I know he's had a couple of injuries the last season or two. He's kind of not been at his best, but Fark has his great ability, as I've said multiple times, of not fixing injured players, but kind of keep managing their minutes and making sure they can play as much as they can. And I think Jack Grealish, would be a great addition. A great addition to the squad. He's got plenty of Premier League experience. Played for England. He's gone to Euros, done well at Euros. Knows England, knows how big the club is. I think it might be a good fit. In my opinion. And the next one I want to talk about is Raheem Sterling, who I wouldn't be enamoured with, but we were chatting on the Imagine Not Being Leeds WhatsApp group, and there was plenty of discussion about the Jack Grealish or Raheem Sterling, who's better. I'm not going to call anybody out on it, but there was some great discussion on it, on both players. And I can kind of see both sides of it, in a way. And a bit more positive news, Johnny Howson is back at the club again as under 21's player manager. Hasn't been in-house by the club, funny enough, but he was in the dugout there over the last weekend just gone. It was nice to see him come back to the club. After all them years, I always remember him being quite good. for Leeds, a bit of a shining light under that in that Grayson squad, in that great Simon Grayson team, that great promotion team from League One. Got the equaliser against Bristol to get the ball rolling. Got a great goal in the playoff semi-final the year previous against Carlisle. Pity didn't work out great in the final against Doncaster. We should have won that. Should have absolutely won that. But it is what it is. The next one I want to talk about is today. Liam Cooper's contract at Sofia Prague, I think it was. One of the Sofia teams. His contract was cancelled mutually. Could he possibly now retire maybe? And come in maybe as Howson's assistant or something at Howson, which I think would be cool. Couple of ex-Leeds lads, Leeds players. No, they both know the club inside out. Would probably know a couple of them. Well, Cooper definitely would know maybe some of the other 21 players coming through. Because he hasn't left the club that long ago. So that could be an option. But I didn't think Cooper was contract at Leeds. I think he could have gone the same time as Luke Gale. I think his leg had gone anyway. Well, Fark seemed to want to keep him above players like Charlie Cresswell, who's now been not sure how true it is, but was looked at by Liverpool and stuff like that. Has had a great season in France at Toulouse. And they'll be looked at by Liverpool, which I think is crazy. That Fark didn't stick with him. I don't think he dealt with it very well. I know Charlie Cresswell's dad, Richard Cresswell, put out a tweet or something, and that's going to where the downfall happened. But that's not. But that was out of frustration because his son probably had a chip on his shoulder that Cooper was ahead of him in the pecking order, even though Cooper was making mistakes that season. He'd made a couple of mistakes. Cost us against Southampton, played absolutely terrible. He got in just because Roldan was suspended. And Cooper stepped in and played absolutely terrible. I think it pissed off Charlie because he felt he should have been the one to start, even though he's probably right, because again, Cooper's made plenty of mistakes. Yes, I know he's a great leader, great captain. He's been a great captain for the club, but we can be sentimental FC, which I think is the most important thing. Is we can't do this sentimentality thing of like last year, he couldn't do that sentimentality thing. Farr couldn't because he needed to get us up. He needed to get us up, and he knew he made a mess of it the previous year and didn't get us up. So the pressure was on him this season. But anyway, that's all the transfer news from me. I'm on 38 subscribers, so still trying to reach that 50 mark. If anybody hasn't subscribe, please subscribe and give me a like, give me a comment on your opinions on anything that I've said, especially the Raheem Sterling and Johnny Howson and the Jack Grealish thing. I'd love to know what people's opinions are. Who's right and who's wrong. It'd be very interesting. I really want to get to 50 subs before the start of the season so I can do some lives, do some live reactions. It won't be as late as some of the other ones. It'll be more during the day, like after I finish work or whatever. It'll be more mid-afternoon kind of thing. I'll be doing my videos and my lives if I do get a chance to do it. So yeah, and please, if you haven't already, subscribe to Imagine Not Being Leeds YouTube channel, Danny Talk Sports, the Leeds Bros, Full Time to Talk, and I think that's it. Yeah. I hope everybody keeps enjoying the nice bit of sun. Enjoying the lovely roller coaster ride of the transfer merry-go-round, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. If that comes up, I'll definitely jump on and do a video. Please get me to 50 subs, please. Thank you.